Hey everyone, so I'm almost done with the customer spawning routine, so I figured I'd review that with you. So we'll look at how we're going to spawn through a range of different customer models, prefabs, and then we'll run it a couple times so you can see how it works. So first thing to know is that I decided to reduce repetition. There will be 3 different prefabs for each class. So I talked about trying to unlock all these different classes. Well, to give even greater variation, each class will have 3 different prefabs. So as you can see down here, there's Archer 1, 2, 3, Assassin 1, 2, 3, Newbie 1, 2, 3. Now, what's important to note is that each one of those, like all the ones, will be in a certain position, all the twos will be in a certain position, and all the threes will be in a certain position. And that position is aligned with one of the plates. So, Archer 1, X position -1. That's the first plate. Assassin 1, -1. First plate. Newbie 1, -1. First plate. So all the ones are for the first plate. All the twos will be for the second plate. So Archer 2, X position +2. Assassin 2, X position +2. Newbie 2, X position. And then we'll just do a couple of the last one because I think the pattern should be self-evident. So the threes would therefore all be the furthest plate. So Archer 3, X5, Assassin 3, X5, Newbie 3, X5. So all the ones will come here, all the twos will come here, all the threes will come here. That way, if I'm spawning a certain prefab of a certain number, I know where it is. That way I can keep them from, I don't want to spawn 3 different NPCs. I don't want to spawn 3 different customers all at the same plate, all at the same time, because they're just going to be standing on top of each other. So this will help keep this organized as far as where that there's only one per plate. So to do this, I created a new variable. So for testing purposes, I was previously using Warrior OBJ and Mage OBJ. I got rid of those. Now it's just one array for all of the hero prefabs. And so you're going to see that pattern I just described. Newbie 1, 2, 3. Warrior 1, 2, 3. And because there's 3 versions of each class, that creates a slight complication that requires just a little bit of math to adjust for, which we'll get to in a minute. Okay, so let's take a look at the code, and then we will run this a couple different times so you can see how it spawns different ones based on different circumstances. So, as I said, I deleted Warrior OBJ, Mage OBJ, that everything will be in here. Public transform all heroes. We were just looking at that in the GM object. Public static int unlock classes. We created this many videos ago. So each position represents a class. And then if it's a 0, it's locked. If it's 1, it's unlocked. So that's what we're going to be checking for. We're going to be checking to see what the value here is and determining if one of those should be spawned. Now this creates a complication because, as I said, there's 3 prefabs per class. So this is one position, but it has to correspond to 3 positions here because there's a 1, a 2, and a 3 of each class because there's 3 prefabs. So that's where this is going to come in. Hero ADJ, so hero adjustment. What we're going to do is we're going to use this to calculate whether we're looking at the first, the second, or the third. So the calculation that you're about to see, you don't have to memorize it. I only had to do this calculation because I'm converting 1 to 3. If you only have one archer and only one mage and only one newbie, then you don't have to do this conversion. I only have to do this conversion because I'm converting 1 to 3. So just keep that in mind. So this is a case where you don't have to memorize that, just understand the reason why. So this isn't change start coroutine spawn week, so we'll jump right down to that since that's what we're looking at. So that's in the start section. That way it is executed. That line is executed before there is even a single frame drawn. So here we go, spawn week 1. And even though it's called spawn week 1, I don't think I'm going to use different coroutines. I think I'm going to use the same coroutine for every day, for every week. You'd return new, wait for seconds, 0.5f, so just waiting half a second before anything happens, just to give the player a chance to see the environment and adjust to it before you start, spawning things in the area. So if you want them to have a little bit more time, be a little more casual, you could increase that delay. So it's only half a second. All right, so we have a for loop here. Rand custom, so random customer. This is the name of the variable. This is the type. It's going to be an int, and this is its starting value. So for int rand custom, should just call it customer, equals 4, semicolon, rand custom greater than 0, semicolon, rand custom minus equals 1. So what this is saying is start at 4, and if it's greater than 0, then subtract 1 from it. That's what the minus equals is. Whatever it's currently equal to, minus that from it. So start at 4 and then decrease. All right, so if unlocked classes, so we said that this represents whether or not a class is locked or unlocked, and it has a value of 0 or 1. So we're using this as a pointer. We're going to look at a certain position within this array and then make a decision. So we're saying if this position in this array, if the value of that position is equal to 1, then we're going to want to instantiate one of the prefabs for that class. And then this is where the math comes in. Instantiate all heroes, as we said, all heroes. These are the prefabs, but which one? So we're going to take random custom, so that number, we're going to multiply it by 3, and then we minus out hero adjustment. And then you'll see that hero adjustment will be increased, which means with each pass, this number will get smaller. So the starting value, 4 times 3 is 12, minus 1 is equal to 11. Let's see what we got. Sure enough, 11 is Archer 3. Let's do the next pass. This gets reduced to 3, and this got increased to 2. So random customer is equal to 3. 3 times 3 is 9, minus 2 is equal to 7. Sure enough, 7 is Assassin 2. So if you noticed, we did Archer 3 and then Assassin 2, because like I said, this will be the third plate, this will be the second plate, and then we're going to want the first plate. So that's intentional. We want to not do a bunch of 3s. We want to do a 3, a 2, and a 1. And then one more time through, this will then be 2 because it's 4, and then 3, then 2. 2 times 3 is 6, and then this will be 3 because this keeps increasing. 6 minus 3 is 3, and sure enough, at 3 is Warrior 1. So this will cycle through 3 different classes and different positions within those classes, a 3, a 2, and a 1. So instantiate the hero object, use that same hero object's position, because again, the X position, we want it to be hard-coded. We don't want to change it. And use that same prefabs rotation. So actually, I probably could just skip this and this. Because as I've said before, if you're using the default values if you're using the default prefabs position and rotation, then you don't have to include that coding. So if you're following along at home, give that a shot. I think I probably could just cut that out. But it's just copy and paste of this. And so it also waits 3 seconds between spawn. That way they don't all spawn at once. 30 seconds, and then it ends. Don't worry too much about this right now. This is just a little cleanup I have to do as far as how many weeks are there, loading the menu scene at the end of the week. Right now it only does 1 wave, so this really isn't used yet, but it will be. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this. So let's start by having the Archer be unlocked. All right, we're running it. So the Archer 3 spawns in line with this plate. Assassin 2, you can tell she's assassin and she's got the daggers. And then the warrior spawns at the first plate. So what you've done is you have 3 different classes, but you also have 1 iteration of that. So watch what happens when we remove the archer. So the next time, if we remove the archer, then the assassin will be here, warrior will be here, and the newbie will be here. But watch what happens. So we'll set this to 0. So now it's a different assassin because, like I said, there's 3 different prefabs. So depending on which plate you're spawning them at, it's a different assassin. And this is a different warrior. It's not the same warrior that was over here. And then since we started over 1 because there was no archer, we went to another class, which is the newbie class. So they don't even have weapons or shields or anything. So, and then it'll just keep going from there. So if you have a class above the archer, then you'll see even different spawns. So it's not just having different classes, it's having variations within those classes. So I hope you found this interesting. I hope this found useful. If you have any suggestions or comments, or if something wasn't explained well, just leave a comment. I didn't get quite as much done this week when I was on vacation as I hoped because I spent so much time fighting with the some of the assets that I purchased. Some of it got resolved, some of it didn't. One of the publishers haven't responded, so I've got a feeling that they just don't know what's wrong. And it happens. I'm not trying to run the person down or anything, just sometimes it happens. Sometimes that they can't figure out what's wrong. So, but we're getting close. I was hoping that by the end of vacation, I would be ready to do early access with this. I definitely don't think it's in the shape for early access yet. Again, because I want there to be more classes, more models, so more prefabs, and that just did not work out because again, I spent so much time fighting with those publishers trying to get stuff to work. One of the packages, I don't think anyone really watched the video for Enhanced Studio. It literally came with no instructions, and that to me is just unacceptable. If it had a bunch of prefabs, fine, but it didn't. You were supposed to systemically create new prefabs, and there was absolutely no instructions. So we'll see how that resolves. Anyways, so hope you found this interesting, and please do enjoy the rest of your day.